Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the commissioning ceremony for the class of 2020. Please rise for the national anthem and the invocation rendered by Chaplain Retired and VA Rep from John Jay College, Mr. Richard Pusatari.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And let us pray. Sovereign God, during these challenging times, grace us with your presence as these soldiers take oaths of office and receive their commission to serve as officers in the United States Army. Here are our thanks for the hard work, accomplishments, and support of family and friends that brought each of these men and women to this place. Grant these warriors wisdom and faith as they take on the mantle of Army leadership. Strengthen them with courage and dedication for the challenges that lie ahead. May their commissioning ceremony be a living symbol of commitment to our United States and its people and to you. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Good morning. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Nicole R. Drakeford, the CUNY Army ROTC Professor of Military Science, again, welcome to the 2020 commissioning ceremony. We would like to thank Major General John Evans, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Cadet Command, Major General Mark W. Palzer, Commanding General of the 99th Readiness Division, Colonel Fred Tody, Commander of 2nd Brigade, Command Sergeant Major Gregory Kaywood, Command Sergeant Major of 2nd Brigade, President Vincent Boudreau, President of the City College of New York, Dr. Latoro Yates, Executive Director of Enrollment Management at York College, Dr. Rishi Raj and Ms. Teresa Scala. All the administrators, professors, and supporters of the CUNY program, thank you for attending today's ceremony and welcome family members and friends of our honorees and to all of our guests. The commissioning ceremony is a time-honored tradition that completes the transformation from cadet to commissioned Army officer and signifies their induction into the profession of arms. Today's commissioning is officiated by the Commanding General of the 99th Readiness Division, Major General Mark Palzer, and hosted by the Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Nicole R. Drakeford. Ladies and gentlemen, the CUNY Army ROTC Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Nicole R. Drakeford.
Congratulations to the commissioning class of 2020. Indeed, you and your families have so much to celebrate. Over the past 2 to 4 years, each of you have kept your focus, pressed your way to reach this finish line. And today is your payoff for all that you have invested and sacrificed, your studies, the training, the FTXs, and of course, successfully conquering CST at Fort Knox. And even today, you all have met the challenge as the first class in the history of CUNY ROTC to commission in the midst of a pandemic. Since we're all sheltered in place, like many of you, I've taken some time to reflect. I thought about our journey, which has led us towards this point of you becoming a commissioned officer. As your PMS, I've had the opportunity to really get to know each and every one of you, and you will always hold a special place with me. I thought about our classes, discussions, office calls, and even some of your tears, your individual stories that has led you to this auspicious occasion, like Cadet Baltazar. Cadet Manuel Baltazar, you're my forever cadet. Although our timelines are not always what we want them to be, you made it, and I'm proud of your determination and perseverance. Further, thank you for the service you're doing right now, being called up in support of COVID-19 amidst finishing this degree and other responsibilities. Job well done. Thank you. I've had the time to think about Cadet Aaron Batista, how you became a voice for the class in the beginning of the school year and suggested we change the way we were leading PT. You lost that battle, but it showed me your willingness to go to bat for other people. Aaron, always pick and choose your battles, but continue to speak truth to power because you're now a voice for your soldiers. Oh, and by the way, do your hair before PT. And your buddy, Cadet Scott Gottlieb, my homeboy from Edison, New Jersey. Scott, your tenacity to be a competitor in this program speaks volumes of you. I can picture you many mornings sprinting across the field with your gym bag on your chest, late for PT. But we knew you had to catch a train, plane, and automobile by old dark 30 just to make it to the city. And I'll never forget telling you that you got branch infantry, knowing how badly you wanted to be an AG officer. But you took the news like a champ. Welcome to the AG Corps. Which reminds me of your classmate, Cadet Duran Hepburn. Hepburn was infantry, an NCO, Ranger Tab, turned green to gold cadet, who will soon be an ordnance officer. The respect and admiration that your peers have shown you because of your willingness to share your experiences with them is the same leadership attributes needed in America's Army. Your drive, coupled with your winning smile and that island accent that comes out when you get upset, it's going to be the motivator for your soldiers you're about to lead. Make us proud, Hep. And your buddy, Cadet Gasambe, the one that could never get his microphone and camera to work at the same time on Zoom during class. I still wonder if you did that on purpose. You're my cadet with the cool car and the laid-back personality. You really stepped up with the underclassmen and became a coach and trainer. You helped to build their confidence. You took the time not only to teach them, but you showed them by example. Gasambe, continue to lead by example. Which reminds me of the cadet from the Show Me State, Cadet Caleb McMurtry, our transplant from St. John's University, which quickly made CUNY your home. Caleb, you wrestled through your MS3 year, not because you wanted to quit, but because you recognized there was a call on your life. I'm excited to see how God will use you, not only in ministry, but in the military, to be a servant leader. You're going to do well. Speaking of servant leader, our Cadet XO, Cadet Moreno, the man that was completely shocked when I made you the XO, but I knew you could handle it. I've seen you grow and mature. You still hold the record of being the cadet that held cadre hostage, talking our heads off during your contracting board. You're the reason I changed the SOP. I've seen you grow from a chubby, shy cadet to a competitor that set your focus on becoming an infantry officer. You made it. Now go do great things. When talking about taking care of soldiers, in the Army, many of us think of a sergeant major. In cadet land, I think about the student that can lead their peers, who has the personality to work with both cadre and cadets, and the person that I think if we invest a bit of mentoring and time, they could become a great officer. That's what I think about when I thought of Cadet Moore. Cadet Latima Moore, or as I call her, Mini-Me. Cadet Moore, I gave you a hard time, and I pushed you hard at times because I can see what you have to offer the Army. You have great potential. The great AG Corps awaits your leadership. I know you won't disappoint. When I think about Cadet Moore, I'm forced to think about your partner in crime, Cadet Wendy Arona. The two of you I hated to see coming through my door, not because of anything other than you forced me to be on my toes at all times. Cadet Arona, from day one, you came to me with challenging questions, not just about the Army, but about life, from conversations that you tried to have while we were on a ruck march, to sitting in my office making decisions about being a full-time student, a mother, and an Army spouse. Keep living what I hear you quote often. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Another leader in the program, the BC, Cadet Sam Quintero. BC, you've done an outstanding job this year leading the Empire Battalion. You, sir, are the epitome of an officer and a gentleman. If we were not remote today, I would look both of your parents in their eyes and tell them what an amazing job they've done raising a God-fearing leader that will greatly succeed at leading America's sons and daughters. Continue to serve because it's bigger than you. Another classmate that understands that is bigger than himself is Cadet Ashik Rahman. Rahman, I met you 3 years ago and you've continued to grow and mature. As you shared on the first day of class a position that you had taken as it pertains to your future, Rahman, that took a lot of courage and a time of critical thinking. Continue to use those same attributes as you make decisions in the military. The Army needs strategic thinkers like you. Cadet Marian Sanko, my A1 from day one. The very first day I met you on a PT field before you were even a cadet, you could hardly do one push-up. Now look at you, an absolute studette, and very shortly, a military police officer. I'm so proud of you and know what this means for you and your family. Sanko, you just changed your family tree. You've got this. Speaking of family, Cadet Kayla Soto, the cadet that everyone in the program could count on, from a couch to crash on to a ride to PT, because you understand what it means to take care of others. From your mom to cadets, you've demonstrated selfless service. Kayla, make us proud and remember to get rid of the slang before a briefing. Not everyone knows what it means to be Gucci. Go get 'em, Airborne. Danielle Sterling, another cadet that has demonstrated selflessness and determination. Danielle, you have had to take care of sickly family members, keep up with your schoolwork, and successfully complete ROTC. And let's not forget how you just kicked COVID-19 in the butt. You rock. Keep up the determination to finish what you started. Finally, Cadet Shaniqua Nicole Westry, my namesake, and soon-to-be branch buddy. A master student that came into the program with her game face on, determined to meet her mother in the Army ranks, but as a commissioned officer. Cadet Westry, I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you bring to the AG branch and to the profession of arms. You don't even know the valued potential you bring to the Army yet. But the future awaits you, and yes, I will be honored to be your mentor. Class of 2020, soon to be lieutenants, each of you brings to the Army the unique diversity that makes our ranks reflect America. Remember, there's a reason you're being commissioned. Today, you are becoming a voice because you've earned a seat at the table. Don't ever take your rank or position for granted or to promote your own agenda. Remember, it's bigger than you. It's about the words of the oath that you're about to take. Your Army career can change your family tree and build a legacy for generations to come. For many, to paraphrase the late Maya Angelou, you are your ancestors' wildest hopes and dreams. So always do the right thing, even when no one is looking. Never compromise your values or ethics. Work hard and be determined to stay the course. Your future is bright, and I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you. So again, congratulations to the commissioning class of 2020. God bless each of you, your families, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Drakeford, for your words of encouragement and for the profile of the commissionees. We will now receive greetings from President Vincent Boudreau and our Commanding General, Major General John Evans.
Let me offer my congratulations to the graduating class of 2020. You are leaving your campuses in the City University of New York at a moment that is really unlike any moment we've seen as a nation for 100 years. In this moment, some of the basic structures of our society and economy and our healthcare system have been tested. By the time you leave your campuses and take up your assignments, we will hopefully be in the middle of an extremely complicated rebuilding enterprise, where the effort to open up our economic and social and cultural and educational institutions will need to proceed with a great deal of care and substantial discipline. Being called to serve in a difficult time, of course, is nothing new to members of the armed services. I have always been struck at these commissioning ceremonies that very, very few graduates of my college or any of the other colleges in the City University of New York leave their campuses to take up their professional responsibilities with a greater immediate responsibility over men and women, over operations, and over the public interest than those of you who are being commissioned in the armed forces. And so I am humbled and impressed every year to see you armed with the training you've received at our institutions and through the ROTC program every year as you accept these grave responsibilities. But I also want to make sure at this moment that I recall to your mind the fact that you are graduating from institutions that are not ordinary American institutions. The entire fabric of the City University of New York, the fabric of my home college, the City College of New York, were inspired by an animating vision in 1847 that as a nation we would never be the people that we must be. We would never be as stable, as just, as free, or as democratic without harnessing the skills and capacities and insights of the whole people. You have graduated from institutions that are dedicated to social mobility. And being dedicated to social mobility means that we have developed the capacity to see the underserved, the under-resources, the often overlooked, and to recognize in them potential. And so as you go forward to accept your charges, I ask that you both embrace the fine traditions of the American Armed Services, but also recall to yourself every day the founding and continuing mission of the City University of New York and City College of New York, that we are an institution dedicated to justice, that we're an institution dedicated to the prospect of social mobility, and that we are founded on the idea that unless you harness the energies of the whole people, you will never be the America that we've been intended to be. So go forward and accept these responsibilities and these charges. You have been well educated and well led by the people who have run this program. You have been well prepared for your responsibilities by your respective institutions. And so we are confident in the hopes that we put in you, that we will have a future that is more secure and more just as you rise in your responsibilities in the armed services and beyond. Please accept my congratulations. Thank you.
Hello, and let me be among the first to congratulate you on this incredible day. I'm certain that this day is much different than the way you envisioned it, and I apologize that you can't be in a large audience among your friends and additional family members, but it makes it no less important. And I want to make sure that you understand that what you have undertaken, what you have achieved, is going to be important for our nation. You are going to swear an oath to the Constitution and the people that stand behind that, to do your duty, to protect our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now, we face an unseen enemy. That's why we are conducting your commissioning ceremony in this way. But I know that you're up to the task. I know that you will take the training we've given you and that you will perform your duties thoughtfully and faithfully. I have faith and confidence in you, as do all of our senior Army leaders. And on this day, I want to congratulate you for doing what only 1 out of every 1,000 people in our country ever does, standing up and taking the oath of office to become an officer in the United States military. Congratulations, United States Army, Second Lieutenant.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I present to you our commissioning speaker for the class of 2020. We are humbled that the Commanding General of the 99th Readiness Division was able to officiate and celebrate the commissioning ceremony of the commissionees. Please help me in welcoming the Major General Mark W. Palzer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City University of New York's ROTC commissioning ceremony for tomorrow's Army leaders. This is truly a momentous occasion in the lives of these young men and women, and I want to thank Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Drakeford, Professor of Military Science at City University of New York, for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful event. Today we celebrate 16 new officers as they begin their journey of selfless service. When these men and women of the Empire Battalion raise their right hands and swear to defend their nation and the Constitution, they will become part of the Army's rich tradition of defending the American people and their freedoms. When I think of our Constitution, I am reminded of the story of Founding Father Benjamin Franklin sitting day after day inside Independence Hall, wondering to himself as the Constitution was being forged whether the half-sun carved on the back of George Washington's chair represented a rising or a setting sun, and whether the sun was rising or setting on the fledgling nation he and his fellow patriots were trying so hard to preserve. After months of deliberation and the final delegates were signing the newly formed Constitution, Franklin is reported to have said, "Now at length I have the happiness to know that it is a rising and not a setting sun." Today we are witnessing a rising sun for each cadet, receiving his or her Army commission. Whether as an active duty, National Guard, or Army Reserve soldier, it is truly an honor to welcome this new crop of Army leaders to our nation's oldest and largest branch of service. I wish we could all gather today on this great day, but the coronavirus has changed all our lives, perhaps forever. This isn't the fight we expected, but it's the fight we're in, and we're going to defeat this invisible energy as we have defeated America's enemies throughout our nation's history. I want to take a moment to recognize all our uniformed responders, whether they wear Army greens or hospital whites. Thank you for what you do. America's greatest generations were built on the strength of their strongest citizens. It's men and women who serve in the armed forces. Today we celebrate the continued legacy of honorable service being carried on by this generation of men and women in uniform. It is my honor to welcome 16 new officers in the United States Army, 8 active duty, 4 National Guard, and 4 Army Reserve. Regardless of which component they will call home, each and every one of these volunteers who receives their Army commission today will carry on the proud legacy of selfless service established by those who have served in uniform throughout our nation's history. Each of these new officers represents the product of a chain of support that includes families, friends, community members, civic leaders, educators, employers, and elected officials. This chain of support is only as strong as its weakest link, and I'm proud to say that it has held steadfast throughout the years and remains unbroken. Thank you to all the members of your extended Army family who have kept and continue to keep this chain of support Army strong. While these cadets will face challenges as young leaders, I offer my own humble advice to help guide these young officers in 3 key areas: leadership, energy, and execution. Leadership is what it's all about for these young men and women. As a leader, you're required to make important decisions, often without the benefit of time or complete information. You must have the self-confidence and assuredness to make these decisions when required. Attention to detail is also key, as the smallest detail can often be the difference between mission success and failure. It is important for young leaders to remember that we are all part of a team, from general to private, and we all have a critical role to play. Finally, remember that leadership is not a right, but rather a responsibility. Energy is also key to success for young officers, as the tasks they face require hard work and relentless commitment. Enthusiasm can be a combat multiplier, as the energy a leader brings to the mission rubs off on his or her troops. Finally, there's execution. All the leadership and energy in the world won't help if you can't execute. Do not confuse activity with results or action with effects. While some career fields give you an A for effort, being a soldier means getting results and accomplishing the mission because lives matter. Winning matters. Always listen to your NCOs. You don't have to follow what they say exactly, but you should take their expert advice into consideration before making a decision. They will ensure that you always take care of your troops. Their lives could literally be in your hands. Always leave your organization better than when you found it. Always bring your unit and soldiers, as well as yourself, to the next level, and make it better for those who will follow, so that we can all overcome tomorrow's challenges. It is important to always do the right thing. This includes treating all people with dignity, honor, and respect. How you treat people will have a direct impact on how they perform as individuals and whether your unit will succeed or fail. You are the standard bearer. Hold it well. Finally, you're going to make mistakes, but don't let that inhibit you. Learn from those mistakes and let them make you a better officer going forward. Overcoming challenges is something at which the Army has excelled during its nearly 2.5-century lifespan. The Army continues to be the nation's force of decisive action. ready today and prepared for tomorrow. In this world, it seems to be an unfortunate truth that terror will not rest, that violence will not sleep, and that evil will not die. But it is equally true that compassion will prevail, that justice will triumph, and that freedom will reign supreme. America's Army remains the preeminent land power and force of freedom in the world today, and will remain so in the future, thanks to the courageous men and women who serve as us every day, both at home and abroad. It can truly be said that their patriotism can never be questioned, their valor can never be matched, and their sacrifice can never be repaid. We have a small number of patriotic families in the United States that are providing generational support to our armed forces, and I cannot thank you enough for your support and service to our nation. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to be part of this event. To those cadets who are about to pin on their butter bars, as we move forward in this nascent millennium, we continue to learn and grow as people, as soldiers, and as a profession of arms, a profession in which I am proud to serve. The Army will continue to grow in order to be ready to respond to evolving 21st century threats and provide the capability the nation needs whenever and wherever is needed. May God bless you, your families, and the United States of America.
Thank you, Major General Palzer. Today's ceremony consists of two events, the oath of office and a mass first salute. A commissioned officer must administer the oath of office to the new lieutenant and swear them to support and defense of the Constitution of the United States. As such, each newly commissioned officer becomes an agent of the executive branch of the government, appointed by the President. The commissionees are wearing the second lieutenant rank, which is a visible sign of this appointment and of the commitment made by the officer. Ladies and gentlemen, the oath of office administered by Major General Palzer.
At this time, I will administer the oath of office to our new officers. Please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Manuel Baltazar.
I, Aaron Batista.
I, Sheikh Gasambi.
I, Scott Gottlieb.
I, Duran Hepburn.
I, Aldair Marino.
I, Latima Moore.
I, Wendy Arona.
I, Samuel Quintero.
I, Ashik Rahman.
I, Marian Sanko.
I, Danielle Sterling.
I, Kayla Soto.
I, Shaniqua Nicole Westry.
I, Caleb McMurtry.
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Army.
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Army.
I do affirm.
Do affirm.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance to the same.
And allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office on which I am about to enter.
Of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The new officers now have the pleasure of receiving their first salute from their senior military science instructor of CUNY ROTC, Master Sergeant Shane Nickel.
Second Lieutenant, congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in the Army Song and the benediction by Mr. Pusateri.
Almighty God, bless each of these new officers as they begin their journeys of service to our nation in the United States Army. More than ever, our nation needs their skills, energy, and selfless commitment. Build in them a joy, an excitement, and a pride in earning their commissions. Inspire them as they move from college to arduous and demanding Army duties. Guide them in true leadership, always focused on the needs of their troops and in fulfilling their missions. Keep them on righteous and honorable paths. Shield and protect them as they defend our nation. Ever enlighten them with a passion for devoted service, love of our United States, and faith in you. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join us in congratulating these newly commissioned officers by leaving them a message in the chat. On behalf of the cadre and cadets of the CUNY Army ROTC program, thank you.